Remember when Trump was faulted by the media for constructing, quote, an alternative reality? This was, by the way, over kind of a relatively minor issue. It was the size of the inauguration audience. But Trump and Kellyanne Conway were blasted because they were said to exaggerate the size of the audience and therefore creating a, quote, alternative reality for their own side. They're presenting alternative facts. Well, Biden has been presenting alternative facts in Georgia. He's been repeatedly caught and publicly corrected and directed to the actual statements in the Georgia law that show that he is, at the very least, saying some major whoppers. But the key point is he refuses to correct them. He keeps saying them. So let's take a look at this. This is an interview on ESPN. Biden goes, talking about Georgia, "Imagine passing a law saying you cannot provide food or water for someone standing in line to vote. Can't do that. Come on. Or you're going to close a polling place at 5 o'clock when working people just get off." So there are two claims here. Imagine you can't give water to someone, voter standing in line. And imagine closing voting at 5 p.m. And this is not just Biden saying it once. Biden keeps saying the same thing. This is on another occasion. "What I'm worried about is how un-American this whole initiative is. It's sick," says Biden. "Deciding you're going to end voting at 5 o'clock when working people are just getting off work?" March 26th, "Among the outrageous parts of this new state law, it ends voting hours early so working people can't cast their vote after their shift is over." Now, the Washington Post, many other places have pointed out that none of this is even true. Let's start with the business about water. The law does not prevent water being served to people voting. Not at all. The law simply says that political operatives who are wearing signs that designate them as such can't do it. Think about it. There have been laws that restrict politicking in the voting line. You don't want Republicans or Democrats making last-minute appeals while people are standing in line. Hey, vote for my guy. Hey, do this. Hey, do that. And the way to do that is to keep political operatives a certain safe distance away from the voters. Now, what was happening is that in Georgia and elsewhere, they were getting around the law by pretending, we're just serving cookies and water. We're just standing here. We're just helping the voters out. But the truth of it is that this was a way to circumvent the law that prevents politicking in the voting line. So the point is that water can be served, but it can't be served by these guys. It has to be served by people who are not attached to either of the political campaigns. And if you've got people who have no political identification, who are working for some sort of a nonprofit that is sort of, let's just say, the Salvation Army or the water serving company or whatever, they can serve water. There's no prohibition against it. Number two, election hours in Georgia are 7 to 7. There's no change in the law to that degree. In fact, the Georgia law expanded voting dates and voting hours. So voters can start casting ballots as early as 7 and as late as 7 p.m., the same as Election Day in Georgia. And Georgia also added a mandatory day of early voting on Saturday. Now, New York has harsher rules than Georgia. For example, New York has fewer early voting days. New York has a restriction on passing out food and water over $1 in value. And what's very interesting about this is that even though Biden knows this, Jen Psaki knows this, she reads the media, but she has been repeating the same lies as Biden. She basically has been going along with Biden. So here are people who are being presented with, hey, that's not the way it is, but they don't care. And the reason they don't care is because they know they've got American Pravda on their side. So you've got these people with press badges marked media, but they're in it with the Biden administration. They're, in a sense, part of an extension of the press team. That's why you see the buddy, our friends in the press are going to be asked to leave, or our friends in the press, because they are friends. They're not just friends. They're doing the Biden administration's bidding. So the simple truth is we are in this precarious situation in a democracy where we have no real functioning press. And that means that all kinds of abuses are going to get detected. All kinds of bad deeds are going to be covered up, and all kinds of lies are going to go unchallenged.